Hello learners and welcome to your Natural Sciences lesson. So today we're going to be answering practice questions and application questions that are based on the cost of electricity. So our first practice question, it is asking us what is another term for electrical energy supplied or for electrical energy used per unit time. So remember, per unit time, it means we are dividing by time and the energy is divided by time. So that is going to be power, because we know that joules per second or power or energy over time is going to be our power. So it's power. Question 2. How would you then describe and define this term? So this power, how would you then describe and define this power? So power is the amount of energy used per second. So if we are to describe power to your friend or to anyone, just tell them that power is described as the amount of energy used per second. Then to define power defining it and describing it is different. So defining power, we're saying that power is the rate at which work is done. Remember, still rate means dividing by time because we are measuring the amount of work being done over a certain period of time. So the rate at which work is done is the definition of power, and the amount of energy used per second, that's now the description of power. Then question 3 is asking us what unit is used to indicate electrical power. So this power that you're talking about, what unit is used to indicate the electrical power? So we know that power is measured in watts. So the unit that is used to indicate the electrical power is watt, or denoted by capital letter W. So it is watt or capital letter W. Now the next question is asking us to complete this. So we have 1 watt. What is 1 watt equal to? So we should know that 1 watt is actually 1 joule of energy per second or over 1 second. So this is going to be 1 joule of energy over 1 second, which therefore is going to be joule per second. So S for second, so let's write it small so that you can see. So it's going to be per second. It needs to be to the exponent of -1, and the J must be a capital letter. So 1 watt is 1 joule of energy over 1 second, or 1 joule per second. Now question 5 is asking us to convert kilowatt into watt. So what we need to now remember about this is 1 watt, as we have said, it is 1 joule per second, which means it's 1 joule over 1 second. And also 1 kilowatt is actually equals to 1000 watts. So therefore, when we are given 1 kilowatts to convert into watts, just simply you multiply by 1000. But if you are given the opposite, if you're given watts and you're supposed to convert to kilowatts, we are going to divide by 1000. So to say kilowatts to watts, what do? We multiply by 1000. Then watts to kilowatts, we are going to divide by 1000. So you always need to remember this. When we are given now in this case that we need to convert the 1 kilowatt into watts, we are just simply going to be multiplying this 1 by 1000. So therefore this is going to be 1000 watts. So every 1 kilowatt is equals to 1000 watts. So now moving on to the next question. Remember, they are still based on the cost of electricity. Now question 6 says, how is a consumer's electrical power consumption calculated? And question 7, it is asking, how is the cost of electrical power consumption calculated? And we need to give a word equation. So the consumer's electrical power consumption, we need to remember that it is calculated by the power, which must always be converted to kilowatts. If you are given in watts, you must always convert that power into kilowatts and then multiplied by the number of hours in which that particular appliance was in use. So number of kilowatt hours is equals to the kilowatts multiplied by the number of hours in which the appliance was used. Then now the cost of the electrical power consumption, how is it then going to be calculated? So we are still now using the very same equation, but on top of that, we need to add tariff. Now remember that tariff is going to be different from location to location. So the cost of electrical power consumption is calculated by saying cost is equals to the power rating of appliance. Now remember that the power rating of this appliance, it can be read from the back of any appliance, which is going to give you how much energy that appliance is going to use per second, and then that is going to be then multiplied by the number of hours in which that appliance was in use. So should you now use an appliance that has a rating of, let's say, 0.5 kilowatts, and you're going to be using that appliance for, let's say, 2 hours. You're going to be multiplying that by 2, and then if we are told that the unit price of electricity or of the tariff is, let's say, 1 rand and 50 cents, then our cost is going to be calculated as, cost will then therefore be 0.5 multiplied by the 2, and then you multiply it by the 1.5. You do know that 0.5 multiplied by the 2 and then multiplied by the 0.5. That is going to give you 1.5. So it's going to give you 1.5, which is going to be your 1 rand and 50 cents. So if it's 0.5, just to double check, 0.5 multiplied by 2 and then multiplied by 1.5, it should give you that 1.5. Yes, it does give you 1.5. So that means the cost of you operating this device, it is going to cost you 1 rand and 50 cents if that appliance is rated at 0.5 kilowatts and you are using that appliance for 2 hours, and we are told that the tariff for that particular year or for that particular month in that particular location is equal to 1 rand and 50 cents. So now, before now jumping to the next set of questions, being the application questions, we're just going to quickly go for a short break, and I will see you just after this.